Let us put ourselves in the presence of God. Let's pray.
Let us bow our heads and put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering all of us today. May you bestow your guidance and blessings so that we can enjoy and appreciate its significance in our lives. Bless everyone who are present here today, that each one of us may be able to share our knowledge, understanding, and wisdom for your glory and honor. May the various activities related to this event be a success through your intervention. We all ask of this in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Please welcome your host for today, Ark One Marketing Lead, Fila Claire Benzi.
Hi, hello everyone, and good afternoon. Again, I am Phila, your host for today, and I welcome you all to Ark One's final webinar for the year 2023. What the year has been. So this is the SAP Business One Purchasing Module Refresher Training with a bonus session with People's HR. So I would like to acknowledge all our participants coming from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Kamusta tang tanan? Are we okay? Yes. So we are truly honored to have all our valued partners and clients with us as we reflect on the incredible journey we've shared throughout this year. So I would like to greet an early Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone, to each of you. So today is December 12th. And guess what? It's 12 days away till we celebrate the Christmas, the birth of Jesus. So as we come together as one with Ark One, it's a moment to express our gratitude for the accomplishments, challenges conquered, and milestones achieved. Your unwavering support has been the driving force behind our success, and we are thrilled to have each and every one of you here this afternoon. Okay, so let's quickly review our webinar guidelines for today. So please introduce yourself in the chat box with your name and company. And for the better quality audio, so kindly please keep your microphones on mute and feel free to share positive and optimistic comments, and any questions will be addressed later on during our exclusive live Q&A. So now let's dive into the heart of today's webinar. A special treat awaits you. So we'll be delving into the SAP Business One Purchasing module in a refresher training session. So it's not just about revisiting the fundamentals, it's also about ensuring that you are equipped with the latest insights and best practices to optimize your operations. And that's not all. As a bonus session, we have partnered with People's HR to bring you an enlightening discussion on people's analytics. So, in today's rapidly evolving business landscape, leveraging the power of data is crucial. So, in people's analytics can be a game changer for your organization. So, thank you again for being an integral part of Arc One family. So now let's embark on this journey of learning and collaboration with enthusiasm and unity. So now let's welcome to the Arc One year-end webinar where we thrive as one with Arc One. Now let's all welcome Engineer Erwin Padrique as he shares the story of partnership between Arc One and People's HR. Hi, sir. Sir, I think you're on mute.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi
So
again.
take two. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Maayong hapon sa inyong tanan. As always, we are excited to have you in our session. Just like what Phila mentioned, ang bilis ng panahon, time flies so fast. It's December again, and we're having our last session for the year. And today's topic is indeed purchasing module. Just like what has been mentioned, our session would be as equally exciting as the previous sessions, simply because in this session, we would be introducing one of our technology partners, which is People HR. People HR is the global leader when it comes to software as a service, HRIS solution. And in fact, one of their biggest names in their portfolio is the South African government. And globally, names like 7-Eleven are actually part of their portfolio. In the Philippines, equally large deployment from manufacturing companies such as Murata and PepsiCo are also in their portfolio. Later, you will hear from our speaker how easy it is and how fun it is to roll out in your system HRIS People HR. At the end of this webinar, should you wish to know more about People HR solutions for HRIS, solution for your payroll requirement, or any people management solution, please do let us know. And our team would be able to organize events specifically for that. In closing, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our sales team. Most of you are familiar with the names, Glenn Mujeres. Glenn has been leading our Vismin team for existing accounts. Most of you are existing accounts here. So he makes sure that you get the most from SAP as well as from Ark One. And of course, in Vismin as well, there are names like Alain Arabe. Alain has been running our business for net new names. So just in case you would have friends or you would have networks who wanted to have SAP B1 implemented inside their network, please feel free to reach out to Alain also. Equally important, of course, are our Luzon team leaders. Uh, this includes Marife Crocero, Ruel Abustan, and Angeline Cepeda. Each of them looks after key areas and key industries across the whole of Luzon and Metro Manila. And of course, equally important are our delivery team. Our delivery team are responsible for providing industry standard customer support as well as system implementation. The team is headed by Neptali Balo. He's supported by RV Segoksok on the technical side, Isa Baguio on the pre-sales, Mitch Book on the implementation, Maricel Magaraw on support, of course, Rogin Selmaro and Santiago Aloran or JR Aloran for delivery and integration. And lastly, I would like to thank our marketing team, headed by, of course, Miss Fila Bensi, with her unwavering commitment to provide the best webinar for you, our customers. She is supported by equally talented individuals like Hannah, Teo, and MG. And of course, very important, from the bottom of my heart and from the whole of Ark One's organization, we would like to thank you for the partnership you have bestowed in us in 2023. And we look forward to a continuous partnership in 2024. With that, I would like to greet you. Maligayang Pasko, maayong Pasko sa inyong tanan, and of course, happy holidays everyone. Over to you, Fila.
Yes, thank you so much, Sir Erwin, for that message for each and everyone. So we are truly grateful for the team of SAP here in Arc One, and also most especially our clients, because we're not here if you're not there, right? So let's all give ourselves a round of applause. So now I would like to call on our first speaker. He is Arc One's champions, and he is also our solutions architect, also a CPA, and has helped companies in acquisition, implementation, and support of SAP Business One. So no other than Mr. Naftali Balo. Hi, Naf.
Hi, Phil. Thank you, Phil. All right. So, once again, good afternoon, everyone, or maadjong hapon kanatong tanan. All right. So,
For today's session, so we will have a quick refresher on the purchasing process or the purchasing module in SAP Business One and some relevant updates from version 10. So if you're not yet using version 10, so you might want to upgrade your version to version 10. All right, so let's start. All right, so the procurement process in SAP Business One is streamlined, or I mean streamlined this way. So it has like these documents. So first is we have the purchase request, the purchase quotation. We also have the purchase order, the goods receipt PO, and then the AP invoice, and lastly we have the outgoing payment. So first is we have the purchase request. So the purchase request is an internal request. So if say for example you want to record your request per department or like per employee, so you may record that through the purchase request, and then you can also route that to an approval or a system approval inside SAP Business One if gusto nyong ipasok yung purchase request. Next is we have the purchase quotation. So the purchase quotation is if, for example, or some companies would like require three quotation before na igawan siya ng purchase order. So the purchase quotation is where you can record the canvas of your items, or if you are asking for quotations from your suppliers. Kasi minsan so for some other companies, they would like to have a comparison as to the best offer or the best option when they try to order items. So they record that first through the purchase quotation. Later on, when you record a purchase quotation, you can also do a purchase quotation comparison report. So from there, the SAP Business One can then suggest as to which quotation has the best offer. And then next is once we determine kung saang supplier tayo kukuha ng item, so then we can create a purchase order. So the purchase order is where we have an agreement already with the supplier as to the items na i-fulfill nila. So si purchase order in SAP, we can also route that up for approval since most companies would like require na merong approval for the purchase order. And then we can also print that up inside SAP Business One. Next is we have the goods receipt PO. So goods receipt PO is where we record receipt of inventory. So once we receive the inventory, we record that through the goods receipt PO. So as easy as copying purchase order details into goods receipt PO, and then i-update nyo lang kung ano yung na-receive natin na items. So upon goods receipt PO creation, doon nag-update yung quantity ng ating items as well as dito rin nag-start yung pag-record natin ng journal entry. So si purchase request, purchase quotation, and purchase order, those documents don't have journal entries. So nag-start lang tayong mag-create ng journal entries or automatic journal entries through the goods receipt PO. Next is once we receive billing from the supplier. So to record the billing from our supplier, we record that through the AP invoice. So with AP invoices is where we recognize the payable to the supplier. Okay, so after that is once we pay the supplier, so we record that through the outgoing payment. So outgoing payment basically is we offset the payable and then we release cash or any payment means. So basically that's the streamlined process or purchasing process inside SAP Business One. Okay, so let me update you on the version 10 updates or the version 10 features with purchasing or relevant to purchasing process. So with the version 10, we now have the web client capability to create purchase quotation and purchase order. So if gusto mo na mag-work ka anywhere, you want to work from home, as long as meron kang internet connectivity, you can create or you can access your SAP Business One and create purchase quotation and purchase order anytime, anywhere, as long as meron lang internet connectivity. So this started to be available on FP 2108. So by the way, for the version 10, for the mga previous versions, we have PL or patch level, but version 10 moving forward is sinatawag na natin siyang FP or feature pack. And then we have 21, meaning year 2021, and then the next succeeding numbers stand for the month. So if we say 2108, that was released last 2021 August. So for FP 2108, we now can create purchase quotation and purchase order through the web client. So the web client is an SAP Fiori interface cockpit. If you are familiar with S4HANA, same na sila ng cockpit or interface with SAP Business One. So si web client, by the way, again, is also available for both versions, for SQL and HANA. So no need to worry na baka HANA lang yan. Hindi. So for web client, this is available for both SQL and HANA as long as version 10 tayo. So next is we have the support for goods receipt PO and AP invoice. So we now can create goods receipt PO and AP invoice starting FP 2111. So if we are now in 2111, you can now create the user can create GRPO and AP invoice anytime, anywhere, as long as meron lang internet. We also have for web client support payments. So starting as well for FP 2111, pwede na rin tayo makapag-create ng outgoing payment through the web client. So again, web client is only available for version 10. So if you want to make use of this feature, you need to upgrade to version 10. So for example lang, ayan, another feature then na na-add starting FP 2208 is the support for purchase request. So if we want to enter PR through the web browser, so we can create that starting from FP 2208 of the web client version 10. So to give you an like a display or a presentation or demo kung paano yung web client or yung interface ng web client, let's take a look at this. So basically, the web client can be accessed through the administration module. So that's under web client. Click mo lang yung web client and you will be redirected to the default web browser ng yung PC. So once you are already redirected, you just need to enter your credentials or select ka muna ng database and then enter your credentials. In this example, enter ko lang yung credentials ko, SAP, and then the password. Then click login. So once you click login, you will be redirected to an SAP Fiori cockpit, which is also available for S4HANA. So this is how it looks like. So these are the modules. And then on the left side, you can click all the modules. And then clicking purchasing, you can see here the modules or the documents that you can access through the web client. We have here goods return request, goods return, AP invoice. Say for example, purchase order. So create tayo ng purchase order. Okay, so pag-click natin ng purchase order, same way as to how you process your SAP Business One client, but difference lang is nasa web browser tayo. And click lang natin yung vendor, and then same way, select tayo ng mga items na i-order since we are opening a purchase order. So let's select multiple items. And then select. So there you go. And then you can click add and view if the details are already complete. So there you go. So added na yung PO natin. So same way, ang difference lang is we are accessing it through the web browser. As long as meron lang tayong internet, and then yun, you can access or create your purchase order or any purchasing documents. So how is it, as mentioned, yung one of the features then if you were present during the webinar for the version 10, you can create dashboards or you can create graphs based on the available data na nakita natin sa screen natin if we are on web client. Let's say for example, for purchase orders, you want to see kung sino yung suppliers na may marami tayong tinatransact na orders. So you can create that easily without the help of your developers. So unlike before, if you want to create like reports, you would need to forward your requirements or the format to the developer para magawa yung report or yung graph. But with the web client, we can now create dashboards or graphs on our own. So say for example, yan, open tayo ng purchase order. So purchase order, gusto ko makita kung sino yung mga suppliers usually or yung amount ng suppliers or in-order natin per supplier. So say for example ito, click lang natin yung chart or yung diagram. Then select lang tayo ng mga dimensions or parameters. So say for example, i-present natin document total, and then select natin yung per vendor name. Yan. So, ang gagawin mo lang is magsaselect ka na lang ng dimensions and you can create your own graph. So, as you can see here, yung pinakamaraming PO natin is with PLDT. So, you can have like line graph, you can have bar graph, and meron din tayong pie graph. So, that's how easy it is to create reports. And then the good thing is you can also export this graph to Excel. So ma-review mo siya, or if need mo siyang i-forward to a certain personnel, so ma-export mo siya to an Excel, so i-forward mo na lang yung Excel file. If for example, hindi siya SAP user yung recipient. All right. And the next is if you want to check the open items. If, say, for example, we want to monitor the purchase orders that are not yet served, or goods receipt POs that are not yet invoiced, or AP invoices not yet paid. So how do we do that? So we open the open items list. So with the open items list, we can generate reports as to the open documents. So regardless if purchasing document pa siya or sales documents, you can generate that through the open items list. So example, or another feature then na improve or na update with open items list for version 10, starting PL01 update is meron na siyang additional details na update. So one update or the details na add for the open items list is the owner. We also have the sales employee, the remarks, approved or created by. So we can now filter kung ano yung mga open na PO as to kung sino yung nag-create ng PO. Then the contact person, payment terms, BP project, UDFs. And then for the open items list, we can now mass cancel or mass close documents. So say for example, we created multiple documents and we want to close or cancel those documents, we can do that with the open items list in version 10. So say for example, yan, so the open items list, we can search that in any report module, or you can just search open items list. So you can make use of the search bar, type open items list, and the open items list will be generated. So as mentioned, we can generate open items list kung ano man yung document na gusto nating i-generate. So you have here quotations, purchase orders, goods receipt POs, goods return request. So for example, yan, mayroon tayong purchase order. Gusto natin i-check kung ano yung mga unserved purchase orders. So going to the right, makita mo dito yung other or additional details na na-add for version 10. So we can now take a look for the owner, the sales employee, remarks created by, and other important details per document. So for the previous version, wala siyang ganung na mga details. And mention, pwedeng mag-cancel and mag-close ng multiple documents. So as you can see, tinik ko lang siya and then click close or cancel, depende kung ano yung gusto mong action. So the closure, so irreversible daw. So click mo na update, and as you can see, nawala na yung mga nakatick na documents kasi na-close na natin sila. So we can do that easily. So unlike for the previous versions, we need to click every document, then right-click close or right-click cancel. So with the version 10, in that case, like purchase order cancellation or goods receipt PO cancellation, we can do that for multiple documents. All right, so next is we'll discuss about the stock changes in purchasing. So ano yung mga effect ng mga documents dun sa ating total available quantity. So as we all know, meron tayong kino-compute na total available quantity inside SAP Business One. So total available quantity stands for or is equal to in stock or yung actual natin na quantity, yung on hand natin, minus the committed or yung mga nagawa ng sales order na item, plus ordered or yung mga na-order through the PO is equal to the total available quantity. So si purchase order, yung effect niya is an increase on the ordered quantity. Since wala pa tayong in stock, so paparating pa lang siya, so that's an increase on the ordered quantity. Si goods receipt PO, once we create a goods receipt PO copied from the purchase order, so yung effect niya is an increase in the in stock since actually na-receive na natin siya. And then a less on the ordered column since wala na, hindi naman na ordered na-receive na natin actually. So for the AP invoice, if the AP invoice is referenced to a goods receipt PO, so that is no effect or that has no effect for the in-stock committed and ordered quantity. Nagkakaroon lang siya ng effect dun sa ating in-stock committed ordered or available quantity if hindi siya reference to a goods receipt PO. So if like standalone siya na AP invoice, magkakaroon siya ng effect dun sa ating in-stock. All right, so, and then let's take a look on the purchasing or the purchasing review or the effects of the purchase or the documents in the purchasing process. So first is on the purchase order. So for the purchase order, since wala pa tayong nare-receive na item, so that would have no effect on the warehouse. And then also no effect on the book since wala pa naman tayong i-record sa books. Next is on the goods receipt PO. So since meron siyang effect sa quantity na receive na natin, so that would have an effect on the warehouse. That is an increase in the quantity. And then on the general ledger, since we will record a debit on the inventory account or the stock account, credit on the clearing account, so that would have an effect on the general ledger or to the books. And the next is an AP invoice. So if an AP invoice is referenced to a goods receipt PO, so that would have no effect on the warehouse or the quantity, and then an effect on the general ledger since we will have to record debit on the clearing account, credit on the accounts payable. So we will recognize liability on AP invoice. All right, next is, or if you have questions, feel free to drop your questions in the chat box. So some of my colleagues will answer your questions. Okay, so let's proceed. So next is on the issues with goods receipt POs. So for the goods receipt issues, so these are the usual problems or the usual concerns that we receive. So say for example, based on the purchase order or against the purchase order, we receive too little quantity. So usual scenario is merong partial delivery. Next is merong too large quantity or merong nag-excess ang delivery based or against the purchase order. And then lastly is we have the substituted items. For the substituted items or usually yung mga alternative items, yun yung nangyayari na possible na imbes na item C yung i-deliver, meron palang agreement na pwedeng item D yung i-deliver ni supplier. So how do we deal with those common issues for goods receipt? So for the first scenario, which is the partial deliveries, so too little quantity, ang possible scenario dito is merong subsequent deliveries. So for the first partial delivery, we receive, like for example, in this scenario, item A has 10, item B with 15, item C 2. So once we receive or the first delivery, we only receive 5 from item A. So as you can see, meron pa tayong ina-expect na delivery for item A. So what we do that with that is we record first a goods receipt PO for the items actually delivered. So we record a GRPO with item A of 5 quantity. And then for the subsequent deliveries, so for example, for item A, first initial delivery is 6. Then for the partial second delivery is we receive 4. So we create another goods receipt PO since yung purchase order natin status is still open. So we can still close or copy that to the next document. But what if yung item B and item C is will not be delivered anymore, or parang for example wala na talagang stock si supplier for those items, si item B and item C. So the status of our purchase order will still remain open since hindi siya fully delivered. And then what ang magiging next action item na lang natin nito is i-close na lang or i-manually close na lang natin si PO para hindi siya mag-hang as open. And then dun sa purchase analysis report, it would still show as a valid transaction. So ang gagawin na lang natin is we get back to the purchase order originally created, then right-click, close para ma-close yung status ng ating purchase order. And then you also have here the substitute items. So we have here a scenario. Item A is 10, B 15, item C 1. And then na-deliver si item A with 10, item B 15, tama naman. But for the item C, the last item in the purchase order, may substitute or may binigay na alternative items, which is the item D. So pwede rin yon, i-copy lang din natin yung purchase order details to the goods receipt PO and then replace item C with item D. So what would happen is yung purchase order would still remain open since hindi delivered si item C. So if you want to close or like para mawala na siya sa unserved POs, itong si purchase order na to, we would need to right click and then close. So if the original item will never be delivered, close the purchase order. Okay, so next is we have here the goods returns and credit memos. Okay, so let me know if you are still with me. Whether you can type Ark One or your company name if you are still with me. Okay, so next topic is we have goods returns and credit memos. So for goods returns and credit memos, so these are our correcting documents. Ayan, nandito si Cold Link, Axel, and we still have Mary Grace. Thank you. All right. So for the goods return and credit memo, so these are our correcting documents. So if we say, for example, we already recorded goods receipt PO and we want to return something or an item to the supplier, so we still need to like copy goods receipt PO to goods return kasi hindi pa siya nagagawa ng EP invoice. So ang equivalent correcting document for goods receipt PO is si goods return. And then, if nagawa na natin siya ng AP invoice, ang equivalent naman niya na correcting document, if you want to return an item to the supplier, is an AP credit memo. So, yun yung mga kabangga niya na mga items. All right. Next is we have the goods return request, or to simplify the process with the goods return request. So, this is available starting version 9.3. So meron na tong goods return request. I think some of our clients here are on version 9.3. So meron na to, available na si goods return request. So si goods return request is an additional document na pwede nating i-transact in SAP Business One. So unlike before, if you want to correct document or we enter a document, correcting document rather, like for example, goods receipt PO as to goods return, diretso ka goods receipt PO to goods return. But with the new document, which is si goods return request, pwede natin siyang idaan muna sa goods return request and then si goods return request na ang magsasuggest kung saan ba siya dapat na correcting document i-copy. So if you are still confused kung paano ba or saan ba siya dapat na correcting document yung gagamitin, like goods receipt POs, goods receipt PO pa lang, saan ko ba dapat i-correcting document to, you can make use of the goods return request. So yung gagawin mo lang is yung goods receipt PO is i-copy mo lang to goods return request and then next is si goods return request na yung magsasuggest kung saan ba siya dapat na correcting document i-copy. Alright? So same goes if you are already on the AP invoice stage, you can copy AP invoice to goods return request and then si goods return request na yung magsasuggest kung saan siya i-copy. So again, for goods return request, wala pa tong entry since wala pang actual na return to the supplier. So this can also serve as like a document na magre-record na meron tayong actual na meron tayong i-return to the supplier before siya ma-approve or before siya actually makuha dun sa ating system. So again, a goods return request, it handles items returned at any point in the process. It simplifies the process because goods return request automatically chooses the correct document to follow. And then document the reason for the return and capture any RMA or return material authorization number given by the vendor. So usually naman pag may sinusulit tayo with the supplier, hindi naman diretso na papayag si supplier. So that would have like an RMA with the supplier, an agreement na okay, ina-accept namin tong sinusulin yung items. So pwede nyong i-record yung RMA through the goods return request. Then after that, if approved ng RMA, recorded through the goods return request, that's a time na i-copy mo na si goods return request to the actual correcting document, which is either goods return, or CAP credit memo. All right, next is we have, or the last topic on my quick refresher on the purchasing process is the credit memo without reducing stock. So say for example, we want to return an item to the supplier, but yung advice na lang ni supplier is wag nyo na isoli yung items. It could be na medyo costly yung shipping expense kaya hindi na pinapabalik ni supplier, or for example nasa abroad yung supplier. So in that case, if hindi na ipapasaoli ni supplier yung items na gusto nating return, so ang need lang nating gawin is to create an AP credit memo without reducing stock or without quantity posting. So ang gagawin lang natin is we can create a standalone AP credit memo, or we can copy AP invoice to the AP credit memo. And then, need lang nating i-tick yung box na without quantity posting. So the effect of this feature is an adjustment to our payable to the suppliers, but without reducing the quantity of our inventory. So in this scenario, we have here a 10% discount or pwede din discount. So since a discount, hindi naman siya nagre-reduce ng quantity, but only a adjustment to the, since it's a credit memo, adjustment to the accounts payable. So the vendor sends a credit memo for discounted amount and then use the without quantity posting checkbox when entering the AP credit memo, referencing the invoice. So for example lang, let's try to open a document. So purchasing AP, so that's under AP credit memo. So if hindi visible pa yung tick box for the without quantity posting, so you can check that through the form settings, click table format, and you can type without quantity posting. So make sure lang na visible yung without quantity posting, then click OK. Then I think that's on the right side. So you can just click without quantity posting. So again, yung effect ng without quantity posting is an adjustment to our payable to the suppliers, but without reducing the inventory or the quantity of that certain item. All right. All right. So I guess that's it on my end. So Fila, back to you. So if you have questions, by the way, you can just drop your questions or later during our panel.
Okay. Thank you, Na, for uncovering those new features of SAP purchasing module. So yeah, again, type in your questions because we will be answering it later on. So before anything else, I would like to say hi to Miss Irene Roma from Seed Forming Corporation, to Equilibrium Intertrade Corporation, Farmers Atlas, STC Power, Miesto, CodeLink, Atomed, and Momentum Construction. So good afternoon to each and every one of you. So now, are you ready? Are you up for a game? Give me a thumbs up reaction if you are ready. Okay, so I can see everyone's reacting that thumbs up. So are you ready to put on your linguistic skills to test and decipher the ultimate word puzzle? So our game for today is guess the gibberish word. Okay, so guess the gibberish word. There will be 5 questions and we will display the words that are translated into gibberish words. So you will be given 10 seconds to answer. So the first to type in the correct answer will be the winner. So the correct answer will also be typed in the chat box. So the winners will be given 250 peso GCash from Ark One. Okay, so are you ready? Okay, so for our first gibberish word to be guessed is lid her shift. Can you guess the correct word for this? Lid her shift. So I think I already seeing the answers being typed in by our clients. So Hannah, what's the correct answer for this question? Yes, the correct answer is leadership. So later on, we will be typing in the winners. So for our second question is add opt ball. Can you guess the correct word for this? Add opt ball. So I also been saying adaptable, audible. So what's the correct answer, Hannah? Okay, the correct answer is adaptable. So it's the A, adaptable. Okay, congratulations. So for our third word to be guessed is in Tiger 80. In Tiger 80. What's the correct word for this? I saw integrity. I saw, what's this word? Okay. So what's the correct answer, Hannah? Okay, the correct answer is integrity. So for our fourth question is imp, pot, fey, tick. Okay, imp, pot, fey, tick was the correct word. I, I saw the empathetic. Okay, so what's the correct word for this, Hannah? Okay, the correct word is empathetic. For our last word to be guessed, this is Fizz Sean. Fizz Sean was the correct word. I'm saying here fusion, vision, fashion, fiction. Okay, Hannah, what's the correct word? The correct answer is vision. Okay, so that's it. So congratulations to all the winners for today. Please, I will be emailing this to the winners. Okay, so now on to our next speaker. He will share insights into the latest trends, strategies for success, and the future of HR solutions. Let's all welcome Mr. Lucio Logan, the VP of Sales at People's HR. Hi, Mr. Logan. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Phila. I'm gonna have to steal the gibberish game. I like that. That's really, really cool. Some of them stumped me, actually. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I know a lot of you are on mute, so I will ask you then to ask any questions or engage or interact through the chat. I think it's probably going to be the easiest thing to do. So let me share my screen. All right, so I think we're good there. I think everyone can see my screen. All right, so I'm conscious a lot of you are from finance and procurement, supply chain. You're probably wondering, what has HR got to do with me? And it's a fair question. So let me start off by asking everyone a question, and that is, if my machine worked, okay. So what is the largest cost for most organizations today? Or one of the largest costs for most organizations today? You should know this, guys, coming from your world. HR is the biggest cost. We're getting close. Human resources, operational costs. All right. Yeah, I'm seeing manpower, labor, absolutely. It's your people. So people are your largest cost, typically for most organizations. Now, we're okay with that because having people on board leads to productivity, leads us to having the ability to engage with our customers, to do the work internally for our organization. So people are our largest cost. Now, I think a lot of us can agree that investing in people can be, very, very productive and in terms of the returns, or it can actually work the other way around in terms of being a very, very costly investment in your organization where it doesn't go the right way. Think about having the wrong people on board, thinking about the amount of time and investments you make in those people. So these tend to be very, very large costs for most organizations. So what I thought I'd do today, you can't talk about HR these days, especially in the finance world, without talking about analytics, or even the buzzword today is AI. So what I'm going to talk about today is specifically around analytics and generative AI, and how can that be applied to most business today, and especially when it comes to HR. So before I start, I thought I would share with you some interesting statistics that were gathered from Gartner. Now, Gartner did a bit of a study when it came to generative AI or AI in general when it came to HR leaders. And the report from Gartner was that 76% of HR leaders believe that if their organization does not adopt and implement AI solutions, such as generative AI in the next 12 to 24 months, they'll be lagging in organization success compared to those that do. Now, you think about those numbers, majority of folks out there, most business leaders today, do anticipate that AI and analytics are going to be key and instrumental in their organization's growth. Now, this research is not limited just to HR, in fact. When we look at CFOs, when we look at chief procurement officers, when we look at CEOs, that number, in fact, is higher. It goes into the 80s, if not the 90s percentile, in terms of they believe that generative AI is so key. Now, where in particular do we see AI and analytics really applied in most organizations, and why do organizations believe that AI and analytics are going to be key and instrumental in their success of their organization? Okay. Now, before I move on, I thought I'd probably kind of cover a few myths when it comes to AI and analytics. Now, the biggest myth when it comes to AI, and I think a lot of people have this on their mind, is that AI will effectively replace humans or employees to perform tasks better than they do currently. Now, there's truth behind that, but there's also a lot of probably falsehoods when it comes to that statement. In fact, AI tools are designed to enhance human capabilities and actually can be useful when it comes to delegating tasks and in making them more productive. Now, a great example I like to think of is the banking sector. If you've looked at the banking sector in recent years, I'm based in Singapore, and I traditionally had gone to banks to work out maybe deposits or to kind of speak with my account manager with the banks. But typically what we would do, what I still sometimes do, is I would go into a bank and I would speak to a teller. Now, normally those interactions would be very transactional, things that now I could do online. And so when internet banking came on board, the same thing applied. They were worried that, okay, this is going to be the end of all these teller jobs. People are going to be out of work. This is not going to be great for the banking sector. But in reality, when they released online banking, when they automated a lot of those functions, yes, a lot of those functions were taken away from the tellers, but in fact, their productivity increased, and they in fact hired more people in the position of a teller. So if I go to a bank today, the conversations I'm having with a person at the bank or the teller is very, very different from the transactional type of conversations I used to have in the past. In fact, it's actually improving my engagement with the bank, and I'm getting more interaction out of the conversation. I'm getting some hands up in terms of questions. Do we have any questions here? Okay. If you guys want to go on speak and ask questions, feel free to do so. I'm working on two screens here, so I may not see your questions until the end. So feel free to stop me anytime if you have any questions. So that's what we're seeing in today's sort of world. The roles that were automated or that were repetitive and that could be automated are yes, disappearing, but those that are enhancing the roles and helping people being more productive, we're actually seeing an increase. So I don't believe personally that AI will, eliminate jobs or, put us all out of work. If anything, it's going to enhance. And the research indicates that, in fact, as well. So where are we seeing analytics and AI really have an impact when it comes to the world of HR leaders? And really not just HR leaders, but in terms of all functional leaders across organizations. And the number one reason is to improve efficiency. You think about how now quickly you can do things now with analytics and AI. Thinking about the effective ways you can make decisions, how you can do things quickly. Where if you think about tasks of the yesteryear that required a lot of manual sort of like time. If you think about spreadsheets, number crunching you'd have to do in the past. All that sort of time that was taken out that you would have to deal with HR in terms of creating those contracts, in creating investments in terms of the organizations. Now, you can enhance that, improve those efficiencies. Think about the employee experience. All of a sudden now that people in your organization can do things a lot better now. So they don't have to worry about the boring, mundane tasks that are repetitive. They can start focusing their time and energy on doing things that really matter now, that things are going to be interesting to them. So this is what we call strategic thinking that frankly computers cannot do. You think about the cost reduction. That's an amazing benefit of AI. You don't have to hire people to kind of crunch these numbers or look at things that can automate from a machine. So it's all these wonderful things you can do: increase accuracy, removing human error, making better decisions. So all these things that analytics can improve and incorporate in the world of any organization, not just for HR, but in every function of an organization. So I'm going to focus on three key criteria when it comes to the application of analytics and AI in the world of HR. And I chose these specific three functions because there's going to be a lot of crossover that you'll see with your HR counterparts, as well as the world of finance and as well as supply chain, because there are a lot of overlaps. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is the recruitment revolution. Now, AI we've seen make tremendous impacts and inroads when it comes to recruitment. Now, you're probably wondering how, and again, what has that got to do with me? Now, you think about the time, the energy, the cost that goes into recruiting professionals in your organization. HR will typically bring the people, finance and supply or procurement will typically work on the contracts. And so that time and energy that is brought into the organization which then you create contracts for is a cost. Now, the cost of hiring that person, to onboard that person, to get them up and running really quickly. Now, imagine if you made that upfront investment and then 6 months down the line, they end up leaving the organization. It's a complete sunk cost. And then you'll have to go through the entire process again, which is detrimental to any organization. One, it's a cost, and two, it's impacting your productivity because you've hired that person for a reason. Now, think about what you can do with AI when it comes to the world of recruitment. Now, what we've seen AI do, and I think a lot of you are probably doing this today. If you're not, you can definitely do this with your recruitment software. Now we're seeing ATS can scan resumes and essentially shortlist candidates which make sense for HR or even the hiring managers to then interview and recruit. But these days it can go one step even further. So while you've got the shortlisting involved, think about a world where AI can then scan a resume and then prompt the interviewer to say, okay, I've noticed these trends in this particular person's resume or CV. These are the sort of questions you probably want to ask that person because these are questions I'm not sure about. So all of a sudden now the hiring manager is equipped with a whole bunch of questions. Imagine a world where AI can now determine whether a person is lying or saying falsehood based on the type of questions someone's asked, based on the way they say something, the way they speak, the way they probably stutter, the way they can be paused when it comes to questions. AI can basically, derive based on human behavior whether the probability of someone is actually lying or not being truthful in an interview. So all of a sudden now you can effectively speed your process and determine which person is probably going to be best suited for your organization and those who are not. A lot of things such as the onboarding process. I think the last stat that I read was that as high as 25-30% of people will leave an organization in the first month because of a poor onboarding experience. Now think about when you add that AI to the mix. knowing what type of learning, what type of coaching this person needs, especially the type of role they are. Not every role is the same. So determine on the person and the role they're entering the organization, AI can then create a onboarding plan for that person so they're productive from day one, as opposed to determining or leaving that to the hiring manager or to the organization to kind of figure things out as they go. So this is where we're seeing that AI has a huge impact, not only just kind of driving the costs down of recruiting people, but also ensuring that those people don't churn sooner rather than than later. So this is what we're seeing when it comes to recruitment and how it just can benefit from a financial perspective. Let's move on to the next one. And the next topic I want to cover here is the talent development side. Now, talent development is absolutely critical when it comes to maintaining your staff. Now, there's an interesting sort of time in which an organization will see a lot of churn when it comes to employees, where we see the most undesirable churn. And that's usually at that 2 to 5 year mark. That is where most of the churn we see happen. The ones that happen less than that typically is for other reasons, but normally people tend to find a point where they kind of plateau in their role. Maybe they're a little bit bored, or maybe they're not getting the sort of value they want in their job, normally at that 2 year mark. And so that 2 to 5 year mark is really, really critical, because if you've got some really, really great talent in your organization and you don't want them to leave, and you think about the cost of them leaving and then finding that replacement, that's huge costs to the organization. So what can AI, what can analytics do about that? Now, effectively think of a world where AI and analytics can go into your data, go into your organization, and find areas where some folks in your organization probably maybe due for some kind of training or some kind of talent enablement sessions. Maybe there's an opportunity to just quickly assess whether there's a risk of that person leaving, and then there's an opportunity to also help that person just develop their skill set to make sure that they're well equipped to do their job. Maybe AI can also pick up, or even analysts can pick up, changing trends in that person's role, and the skill set they had maybe 2-3 years ago are not really applicable in today's age. And I see that in many, many jobs. And so all of a sudden now AI and analysts can make recommendations in terms of some of the skill sets that they could potentially use. Or maybe, based on previous training and development courses, analysts can then go and see, based on some of the feedback, based on some of the input they receive from other stakeholders in the organizations, all of a sudden now we've got some trends that analysts can then make some recommendations in terms of the growth and development programs that particular individual needs. So there's a lot of sort of things that AI and analysts can be applied to when it comes to people, to ensure that you minimize your cost to undesirable churn in the organization. All right. And so the last point I'm going to make is around employee well-being. And so the buzzword of mental health has come up a lot. I see this a lot in Philippines as well, and for good reasons. Now, I speak to a lot of senior leaders who make the outrageous claims saying, why is mental well-being so important? Why should I really kind of give a damn about ensuring that my people are happy at the end of the day? Shouldn't I be focusing my time and energy on my customers? And I suppose it's a fair statement to make, because ultimately customers are the ones that are paying the bills and bringing in revenue. But at the same time, if you think about your employees, if your employees are engaged, if your employees are unhappy, ultimately they're the front line of your organization. So if they're not happy, if they're not productive, and they're then passing that sort of behavior, that sort of attitude towards your customers, then that has obviously consequential effects as well on your bottom line. So not only is it the right thing to do, but also it does have financial implications if you don't look after your employees as well. And research tells us this time and time again. So this is where analytics and even AI can also play a part. So how can we do that? Now, think about a world where you can track the sentiments of your employees. Now, a lot of things go through a life of employee, and it's ultimately impossible to keep track of every single individual. HR can't do it. So the business can't either, right? You think about the number of things that go on to that person's life. Think about the time they join the organization, the type of training they will receive, the type of manager they will be interacting with, the changes in managers that they may interact with, the change in maybe a company direction. You know, how does that impact the people? Think about something personal going on in that person's life. Maybe it could be a marriage, it could be a child, it could be something else that goes on in that person's life. So whatever it is, everyone has a different sort of like career projection or a different sort of journey along in their career. And tracking those sentiments is critical for any organization. And you can do that with a number of softwares and analytics, behavioral analytics software. And so tracking, you know, particular trends, what happens in organizations, all of a sudden now business can see themes. They can track, you know, particular trends that happen in an organization. And before people actually make the decision of leaving an organization or doing something consequential to that company, companies can actually act before that happens. When people leave an organization or they do some kind of damage based on a poor experience, it's too late. But if you can see those trends and you can act before that happens, then you can then potentially save the organization quite a bit of money, especially when it can be very, very dangerous to any organizations. So if you're not doing that, I would strongly encourage you to even consider doing something like that. Yeah. So we spoke about the recruitment, we spoke about the talent management, and we talked about employee engagement. And so when we kind of bring it all together, this is where analytics comes into play. So I was going to ask this question, like, you know, I've got a lot of data. Where do I kind of leverage that? And so the reality is most organizations would have collected a ton of data. Even if your data is like 12 months, if not 24 months old, that's still enough to make a start. You know, usually data is, you know, managed either through your ERP, call it SAP V1, or any other ERP platform you're using today, any financial platforms, or even any Excel spreadsheets or HR software. The idea is then how do you then incorporate their data to actually make, you know, data-driven insights? Once you're able to do that, then you're able to make real intelligent decisions rather than just kind of going based on gut feel or what you feel may be going on in the organization, because the data can tell you something completely different. And so when you make use of that data, then you can essentially help yourselves make effective decisions, which will then essentially reduce costs and ultimately improve productivity, which is, in the end, I think we can all agree, is best for an organization, which leads to ultimate performance. Now, this wouldn't be a presentation by me unless I do a little bit of a product pitch or talk about people's HR. So a little bit about me. So I was introduced as the VP of Sales for People's HR. I'm based in Singapore. And a little bit about our organization. So People's HR have been in the game for over about 26 years. Now, I share that number with you because 26 years is a long time, not just from being in the technology front, but more on the domain expertise. We've been around for so long because we've spoken to a number of organizations. We've seen a number of trends. And so during that time, we've learned in terms of what works for many organizations. And through that period of time, we've actually got about over 1 million. This number is actually a little bit older. It's gone a lot more than that, but it's about 1.2 million HR professionals today are using People's HR. We're across a multiple number of different countries, 40 based on last count, but we're predominantly focused on countries such as Sri Lanka, Kenya, Bangladesh, Singapore, as well as the Philippines. And so we're not fixed to any particular industry. We're across actually multiple different industries, 20 plus industries, in fact, including manufacturing, banking, retail, you name it, we've been there. Our organizations, our customers are as small as 10 employees to all the way to 500,000 employees. So we have one customer in Uganda, in fact, that have 500,000 users using People's HR platform. So that's a lot of employees on the single platform. So what's unique in terms of People's HR, in terms of where we're built? So we spoke about analytics and AI, and everything we do at People's HR is actually built from the ground up. So if you look at the analytics and the AI I spoke about, everything we spoke about today is actually incorporated in People's HR today. And so you take a step further there, we are hosted, we're an Azure partner as well as Huawei partner, and so a lot of security and sort of privacy restrictions are put into our platform, so you're safeguarded to ensure that you're getting the very best. And as a cloud platform, you'll always ensure that you're always kept up to date with the latest and greatest of our platform. Now, I know a lot of you are using different systems, different platforms, and that's absolutely okay. 100% of our customers are using different platforms, including SAP, Oracle, and so forth. And so we are completely able to be integrated into those platforms. We have a number of customers actually do that today. Data is pulled in from their SAP systems, pulled in from their other systems, and that's all incorporated into people's HR, where they can then start making people decision based on what the data is saying from the other several different systems. We're an end-to-end platform. So that doesn't mean just your core HR, which is basically a database of your employees, but we manage everything from end to end, including payroll. So Philippines having to be one of the most complicated payroll-based countries in the world. From last memory, it was third most complicated country behind Brazil and Australia. So something I suppose to be proud of in a way, but we are completely compliant when it comes to Philippines, and have a number of customers who are using our platform today when it comes to payroll, time and attendance, and then of course strategic HR platform modules such as performance management, succession planning, learning and development, recruitment, onboarding, and so forth as well. And then again, everything again is built with analytics and AI in mind, but most importantly, it's there for the employee experience. Employee experience is everything. You want to make sure it's simple to use, it's easy to use. I read a very interesting study that a lot of Gen Z and millennial employees that do join organizations, as many as 30% will leave an organization if their software or the applications they're using are actually not easy to use. And so when you do have applications that are cumbersome and difficult to use, that's enough to warrant actually their departure in the early period of time. So employee experience is paramount in everything we do, and we've built this in our system as well. So besides what I've spoken about, what else makes people's HR special? We're a global organization, so we have an experienced support team that follows the sun. So if your organization has people outside of Philippines, we're there to support. We're compliant, especially when it comes to Philippines as well, and we're localized, to all statutory requirements when it comes to Philippines, even when it comes to government. And we're able to be customized, completely customized to what is the requirement for that organization. We believe that people's HR companies shouldn't, adapt to the software. The software should adapt to the people, and we do that to ensure that, again, this is going back to the employee experience. So then the employees or the users make sure they have a positive experience when it comes to the software. So I'll leave it there with the question is, are you ready for your HR transformation? I'd like to thank you for your time, everyone. And please, I'm open to questions or anything you'd like to know around what I presented today, as well as people's HR. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Logan, for sharing those insights on the latest strategies for success and the future of HR solutions. So to our dear clients, please type in your questions, because later on during the live Q&A, we will be answering it later on. Okay, so now please answer this quick survey form flashed on your screen. Okay, scan it using your camera phones and you will be redirected to a form. So by answering, you will get a 1 entry and your name will be included in the Wheel of Fortune during our raffle that is sponsored by Ark One Solutions and People's HR. So we've been also sending the link in the chat box and the QR code. Okay, so now I'd like to call on our panelists for today. We have Mr. Erwin Padrique, our CEO, Neftali Balo, the SAP Business One Delivery Team Lead, Mr. Logan from People's HR, and we have Elaine Arabe and Glenn Mujeres, the account managers from Vismin, or Visayas and Mindanao. And we do have Marifer, Ruel, and Angeline, the account managers in Luzon. Okay, so I think I'll throw in the first question. So I'll throw this question to People's HR. So for example, I am SAP user. So does People's HR can be integrated seamlessly to or with SAP Business One?
Yeah, absolutely. I may have touched upon it earlier in my presentation. We have a number of customers who are using great platforms, ERP platforms such as SAP B1, SAP HANA, Oracle, as well as an array of other ERP solutions. And so what will normally happen is they will come to us because the ERP solution that they're currently using will be providing core HR functions only. And even SAP will encourage all their users to move towards SuccessFactors as part of their HR transformation. And so we've done a number of projects with a number of customers using SAP, and the APIs are readily built to incorporate and integrate into that platform. So the data seamlessly flows between both systems.
Okay, noted on that. For the next question, so this is for Neftalí Balo, the for SAP Business One. So is web client available for SQL version for the SAP
For
purchasing
web
module?
client, okay. For web client is only available for version 10. So version 10, and then regardless if you're on HANA or SQL version.
Okay, noted on that, Nev. So for the benefit lang na yung sa mga clients na hindi nabasa yung sa chat, there was a question, is good receipt PO is per SI?
Goods receipt PO, that is depende siya sa process or company policy, so or business process ng company. For some, ini-skip na nila si goods receipt PO, dumidiretso na lang ng AP invoice. Same lang din siya ng effect with goods receipt PO if didiretso ka na lang din ng AP invoice. So for some, GRPO yung gagawin nila for the recording by the warehouse personnel, then AP invoice for the accounting. So if in your case, on your business process, limited lang yung user, so pwede dumiretso na kayo ng AP invoice. Same effect, increase in the quantity and then recognition of the payable. Now, na-offset lang yung clearing na part.
Okay, noted on that, Nev. Also, Miss Irene also has a follow-up question. So every delivery, we will deduct the delivered items sa na-create na AP invoice.
Yes, parang ganun din. AP invoice, if didiretso sila ng AP invoice, makatatanggal or madededuct na yung open from the PO.
Okay.
Open
So now
quantity.
we have, okay, thank you for that, Nev. Now we have a question from Miss Eileen Benedicto. For importations, GRPO is always a must, right? This is for Nev.
For importation, since importation now we also need to record landed cost. So yeah, I recommended that you create GRPO, and then after the creation of GRPO, you may record your landed cost through the landed cost document for like expenses like customs and arrastre and etc.
Okay. So another question from CodeLink Nev. How to cancel the GRPO that the inventory item already goods issue. The error code is dropped into a negative inventory level.
GRPO error, no? May drop inventory level. Ano ba? Negative inventory. For specific errors, pwede niyo po siguro we can raise that through the SAP B1 Care para ma-investigate further ng team kung anong reason for the error and para ma-document din. Kindly send screenshot lang para makita natin initially kung ano yung possible error or cause of error.
Okay. So are there any more questions? We also have this question from Miss Janet. Sino po ang right person na ipa-manual close ang PO if item is not delivered?
If item is not delivered, okay, so ang usual na nag-close is the one with the access for PO or the purchase order. So usually pag nalaman nung PO creator na hindi na madi-deliver, so siya na rin yung magko-close nung PO para mawala na siya sa hanging or pending na PO or unfulfilled PO.
Okay, noted. We have a question for Mr. Logan. So is there an optimal size of employee population for a customer to start investing on people's HR?
I would recommend if you're embarking in any journey when it comes to HCM or HRS platform, ideally you want to have at least around 30 to 40 employees at a minimum. Anything less, it may not make financial sense, and you can probably manage it quite effectively, honestly, through your current processes. But once you start reaching the 30 employees and above, that's when it starts making sense in terms of time and the cost associated with it.
Okay, noted on that, Mr. Logan. Thank you for answering. There's a follow-up question, Neff, from Miss Irene. So this is an example scenario. There is a sudden changes of price sa item, then the input sa purchase order is lower price, and then during the delivery, ang price sa resibo is higher. What should be the correct steps to correct the exact amount?
Okay. The usual practice is you update the price based on the document or the source document on AP invoice kasi yung GRPO usually the one doing the GRPO is the warehouse personnel, so they don't have the control as to magkano yung i-record na price or cost of that item. So by the time na mag-AP invoice, doon yung ilalagay o i-update yung actual na price para yun yung magiging payable to the supplier.
Okay, noted on that. So there's another question to Logan. Do you provide a trial version for People's HR?
So what I could encourage anyone who's interested in looking at people's HR, I think got Irvin on the call. Yeah, Irvin's there. So you can contact Irvin and the team, and I'm sure the team there will be able to share with you the platform.
Okay, yeah. So you do contact the Ark One team for us to assist you. So we have another question from Ms. Maritas Villar. For PO with overdue delivery date, will it be possible to automatically close the PO?
For now, wala pa siya sa standard ni SAP B1, but I think pwede naman siyang gawan ng customization para automatically mag-close. Gagawan lang siya ng parang add-on within once it reaches a certain condition like the delivery date, pwede siyang gawan ng parang automatic event to automatically close. But that's as mentioned, customization siya, hindi siya based on standard.
Okay, noted. Nev, Miss Irene has a follow-up question in connection to your answer kanina. Hindi ba siya mag-i-error since ang PO price is not the same with the invoice price?
Hindi naman pa. Hindi siya mag-error unless or if based sa company policy nyo na hindi pwede naman siyang gawan din ng like transaction notification or blocker if yun yung requirement. But generally, hindi siya nag-error if your PO price is not the same with the invoice price.
Okay, thank you, Nev. So is there any more questions that our panelists will be answering? Okay, wala na sa ngayon, no? So now let's ask our panelists for an ending statement before we will end this 2023 webinar with Ark One and People's HR. So let's start off with Mr. Irwin, Neftali, 𝐦𝐤𝐳𝐸, and then the sales team of Ark One.
Thank you very much, Fila, for that. Again, dear customers, we're very thankful for the partnership in 2023, and we do look forward to a more fruitful and prosperous partnership in 2024. And indeed, 2024 is a year of AI, and presentation of Mr. Logan is very timely. I do hope that we take advantage of it. And if there's an opportunity for us to help, please do keep in touch. Again, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Neff.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. So for 2024, so expect we will have more engaging topics and especially updates on the latest version for the other modules. So watch out for that. And then yeah, I hope to see you on our next sessions.
Mr. Logan.
Thank you, everyone, for your time. Really, I don't think I got to speak to anyone, but I love the questions. So thank you so much. I would only leave you with the final statement, especially a lot of you coming from finance and supply chain. Please be kind to your HR colleagues. They're doing an amazing job, and there's a lot of work that goes in terms of supporting yourselves and the people. So there will be a lot of sort of investments that do come your way in 2024, and we've seen the research that speaks about it. So if they do come and speak to you about investing in HR, yeah, let them.
Yeah, you had me at that. Be good with HR team. We all should be. Yes. So moving on to Elaine, Glenn, Marie Ferruel, and Angeline.
All right, let me start. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Elaine. I basically handle new businesses here in Visayas and Mindanao. So that means that if you have counterparts, if you have suppliers, if you have business partners who would want to know more about SAP Business One, I encourage everyone, if you're already using SAP Business One, to spread the word. It is our responsibility to share this innovation to our partners. So I would be more than happy to talk to you about SAP Business One and Ark One, as well as People's HR. So that's a lane to you.
Okay, Glenn.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. So it's been a year, 12 months journey. I want to express our deepest gratitude. Thank you for choosing us, for believing in us, and for being an integral part of our story. We value our partnership and we look forward to serving you with the same dedication and passion that you have come to expect. So daghang salamat. We will not be on holiday leave. Syempre may holiday leave, but you can still raise your tickets if you have concerns. We will be there to assist you. So daghang salamat. Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays.
Marifa.
Yeah, everything has been said, but thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Your presence is truly appreciated. Your participation in Thank you again, dear partners. May the year ahead be filled with joy, hope, and endless possibilities for all of us. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Ruel.
Hi, hi. This is Roel Abustan, your account manager for NCR Luzon. I want to sincerely express my gratitude for the trust you place in us. Your partner has been integral to our shared success, and wishing you a joyous holiday season and look forward for another fruitful year for 2024. Thank you.
And
Hello, everyone and their partners. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today and looking forward for more partnership and webinars like this in 2024 and hope to spread this webinars and yung learnings to your business partners, and we wish you a happy new year and merry Christmas. Thank you.
okay, thank you. So yeah, we do have 151 participants for today. So we all deserve a round of applause. Thank you for that. So as part of the perks you enjoy of being a client of Ark One, because we always got you covered, we are sharing with you our calendar of activities for our free. Take note, three SAP Business One modular courses coming 2024. So here are the schedules we have for February, April, and June. So schedules are subject to change, but customers will be informed 2 weeks ahead if the schedule or have changes. Okay. So now I believe all of you have answered the survey form. So let's now proceed to the raffle. But before we will proceed rather to the raffle, may I request each and everyone to please open your camera for a pictorial. So before we will end this session, so can you guys open your cameras because we will have a family photo up. Okay. Okay. And one, two, three, smile. Okay, again, one last. In one, two, three, smile. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so now this is the most awaited part, the raffle. There will be 5 winners of 500 peso GCash from Ark One and People's HR. So thank you, People's HR and Ark One. So Hannah, are you ready to share? Okay. Are you now sharing the music, Han? Okay. So for our first winner, we have okay, congratulations, Ms. Lizelle Frances Gotero for winning. For our second winner, we have Miss Angeline Bachinicha. Congratulations, Miss Angeline, for our third winner. We have Miss Ariane Tano. Congratulations, Miss Ariane. For our fourth winner, we have congratulations, Miss Catherine Abalorio. So for our last, right? Last? Okay, last one. We have Frederick Tadiamon. Congratulations, Sir Frederick. So please type in. We will be emailing you to get your GCash number. So congratulations to all our participants, to all the winners for today. That's it. And thank you again for joining today's purchasing refresher training. And we all again will see you on 2024 full force. Okay, full force. So this has been Phila staying in Ark One. We've always got you covered. Goodbye.